Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And in the house, once again, because we're down to crunch time.
Our
buddies from MidSouthCon. We've got Danny Chamberlin and Denise Hager here again, who look sleep-deprived and overworked. But, hey, you made it in, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
so... So a little later in the show, Brandon, I guess they're going to report in. Give us our final kind of checklist before MidSouthCon gets here.
Yeah, but we decided that at this point, why do a whole nother episode where we just rattle off what's going on when we can actually make them comment on geek culture?
Exactly. So, well, I don't know. Does live theater count as geek culture?
Absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely. It is a form of art. Art is inherently geeky and political. So you can find pretty much everybody can appreciate art, and if you can't, you have no soul.
Well, I went to a really you know when you go somewhere and you have no expectations and it just blows you away, it exceeds your expectations. I had a theatrical experience like that last week.
That's the way I kind of felt about with Anne Juliet when I saw that at the Orpheum Theater.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where I had no expectations of the plot, and it's like, oh my, this is actually like this is just couples therapy.
Yeah.
But done in a really artistic way.
Yep.
It's also really hard to go into anything without any kind of expectations because too often everything, especially in the geek culture, is overhyped. And then you see something and it might be a little disappointing because of how overhyped it was.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wanting to talk about lanterns at this point.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, so what is this? Okay, when you sent me the trailer the other day, if I didn't look at the little thumbnail, I would have thought this, I don't even know what you call this, like a crime drama or something?
It is 100% a crime drama. It is a mixture of throwing a little bit of superheroism in with HBO's True Detective.
How do you throw in grit with something that's full of green spandex?
Well, that's the great thing about it. There's no green spandex. Even the outfit looks kind of militaristic and not quite green.
Okay, because this is the Green Lantern... this is HBO.
HBO Max.
Who gave us the Penguin, which, let's face it, was awesome.
Right, but I mean...
And Doom Patrol.
And Doom Patrol.
And that's good, right? I didn't watch Doom Patrol.
Yes.
Doom Patrol was good.
I think you would love Doom Patrol, Joe. You'd hate Titans.
Okay.
But you'd love Doom Patrol.
I think it's almost the other way around for me. I like Titans more than Doom Patrol, and yet Doom Patrol was definitely an older, more mature... setting of but there should have been trigger warnings.
There's some
episodes.
serious lore there, though, that as far as why Joe wouldn't like Titans. Dick Grayson is the leader of the team, and you've got multiple Robins and all this. It's the sidekicks.
I
and you're
watched
not a huge
a little
fan
of that, and I lost interest. You're right, because I did watch some of that. And what's her name? Starfire. Wasn't she killing people? And stuff?
Because I mean,
Wasn't she kind of villainous or something?
Well, she wasn't so much a villain,
was
but
an alien.
it was very much a situation where you ain't getting out of this without maiming or killing a couple of folks.
It was like ultra violent, right? They tried to make up for it by being violent.
Yeah, it's totally not your kind of thing.
But I mean, it was such a good tie-in to the cartoon, the more adult cartoon of the Justice League, cartoon that came out years ago. I think, though, the big difference for me was that you had Starfire is almost an anti-hero in
That's
comparison.
what I thought, too.
Well, I mean,
all right, but
you got Dick Grayson dropping an F Batman like in the first
I didn't
3
like
minutes
that.
of it.
That part,
so
was going to turn me off. So.
I knew that would trigger you, sir. But Lanterns is so...
Wait, what's it called? Lanterns?
It's called Lanterns.
Okay.
And John Stewart has just been, he's just been recruited into the team. Hal Jordan is his mentor. He's training him, but he hasn't been able to use the ring yet. He's going through all the rigmarole of being a law enforcement officer.
He's literally
basically.
going through the ringer.
He really. Max. That's a dad joke. You need at least 3 kids before you're allowed to say that one. But yes, it's absolutely.
It's kind of out in the country, right?
Well, this
isn't a city. This is like
no. It's like a full on. All right, Danny, I know you've read it, but Joe, Denise, have y'all ever read Hard Traveling Heroes? All right, it is Hal Jordan, Oliver Queen, and was it Ganthet from the Guardians?
Yeah.
In a pickup truck traveling across country.
Okay.
And they only kind of stepped in. It was basically they were showing Ganthet what the world was like, and of course you got uber liberal Oliver Queen, and you've got conservative, Air Force, reject Hal Jordan.
Right.
Well, I think that there's a little bit of that vibe going on here because it's Hal taking John under his wing and he's teaching him about everything, and John hadn't gotten a chance to do any full on superheroing yet as part of the Green Lantern Corps, and they kind of stumble across a murder mystery that has cosmic ties.
Okay, because it reminded me of, I don't watch these shows, but isn't there like a Kevin Costner show where it's he's like some big crime lord or something out in Tulsa? I don't know.
I think no.
Oh, you're talking about
Yellowstone.
Tulsa.
That's Tulsa King.
Kings.
That's Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, okay.
Costner
Whatever it
was
is.
Yellowstone, and the
But-
Duttons aren't villains, but they're not exactly.
Squeaky clean.
It's not inner city, but it's
Right.
basically corruption and crime and
Absolutely.
everything out in the country.
And
so.
so of course, they finally dropped us a good trailer. It's going to debut. I don't know if it's all going to drop at once in August, but it's going to start in August.
Yeah, HBO traditionally hasn't dropped everything. They're usually serial.
Usually, but who knows with what they're going through right
They
now.
didn't used to be though. They've become more serial, and a lot of of these streaming shows have become more serial over the last few years. Like we're swinging back that way. I think we all got sick of commercials, and now we're ready for something.
Yeah.
Or they're ready to pace it out more.
They're pacing it out more because they don't want people joining in for the weekly free trial, binge watching an entire series, and then dropping it again.
But, okay, the one time I saw Hal Jordan fly in the trailer, even then he didn't have his Green Lantern suit on. He just had the ring.
Right.
So are they just steering clear of that, trying to make it feel more gritty and street level? Or?
It's a possibility. I'm not sure exactly where their feelings are on that, and hopefully soon though, we'll start to see some of the effects. I'm hoping that when they power up the uniform, that is a lot more green.
Do you think they'll do the chant?
If they don't,
He was holding the lantern at the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
I think though it's just it's not a real thing for Green Lantern, regardless if it's lanterns or not, until Ryan Reynolds makes some sort of tag though.
Yeah, we don't need
we
him
don't
in this. So.
We don't talk about Ryan Reynolds anymore.
They can name every member of the Green Lantern Corps in under 60 seconds. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. That finally one that's on point, Brandon. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and our pal Max over there behind the glass, and our visiting correspondents and shameless promoters, Denise Hager and Danny Chamberlin. They're gonna update us on our final checklist for MidSouthCon coming up March 20th through 22nd. So. But before we get to that, and we were just weighing in on our feelings about the new Green Lantern trailer, if you're just tuning in. But now we're going to get cultured. We're going to talk about theatrical experiences. There you go, man.
Did you say theatrical?
Number one sensation.
Yeah, this was a number one type of thing. Okay, well, Brandon.
I just think it's quite a relief that you enjoyed this. I was very.
Yeah, let's get all the puns out of the way. So
He's a theatrical whiz.
yeah.
Come on, Max. I can't have Joe cackling in my ear like that.
Well,
I mean, now that we know what you're into.
yeah, there we go. So, all right.
You
so,
thought he was vanilla. He's a
let's-
little more lemon.
All right. Probably we should name the thing before we start with all the puns. But so here's the
I
deal.
want people to know, go back and go, wait a second.
All right,
Vanilla with sprinkles.
But as you know, if you've listened to Geek Tank, one of the things that I've kind of got, my son and I really love going to live theater, and especially like Broadway productions and
Right.
things. Well, it could be the biggest production there is, or just little small productions. And so we found, I was at the some shop, and I saw a poster for a play coming to Rhodes College called Urinetown, and it is what it sounds like, Urinetown. And Brandon, I remember you sent me something about this like 6 months ago.
Right. When we were doing the 15th anniversary MCFC, we were gearing towards a theatrical theme, and I put together a big playlist, and I used the song "Free to Pee"
right
from Urinetown as part of the playlist. I don't think anybody ever heard that part, but
yeah. Well, here's the thing. So Rhodes College, I'd say if I had to guess, this thing seats probably 150 people max. it's a very intimate theater, which is cool, but and Rhodes College is a beautiful campus, but I went in with very modest expectations because I've seen some high school productions and things, whatever.
We've seen some high school productions that rival, professional. We've also seen some college stinkers.
Well, this one, so the premise, folks, I don't think this is a spoiler. Basically, it's this sort of dystopian future where water has been, depleted, and basically you got to pay to go to the bathroom.
Right.
So it's like a lush version of Arrakis.
There you go.
The thing is the problem could have been solved by just making still suits because, the whole point of the still suits is they recycle number one.
Okay. You say just make some you go invent a still suit, man. Danny could probably do it, but I don't know that any of us
Danny
could
probably do it. I think Max could do it.
Okay. But anyway, what's great about this, you guys, is they started, how it reminded me a little bit of the way Ferris Bueller, how he breaks the fourth wall. He's also the narrator, and he just kind of, they cut through. I mean, they use his narration very effectively to just give you the information, change scenes or whatever.
Right.
They did the same thing here, and it was really, really well done. And it had no right to be as entertaining and as funny as it was. And these kids, there was choreography, there was great singing. And have you ever been sort of just wrapped into something? You're like, you come out of that and you're just like, that was shockingly good.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
it was really a surprise.
I've seen productions where it's like I went in and go, okay, this doesn't even remotely seem interesting, but I need to see this. Somebody bought me a ticket. All right. And then you just walk out and go, wow. And but I mean, I have found though that when it comes to live theater, the more unhinged the storyline, the more enjoyment I get out of it.
Yeah, because you suspend anything goes.
Right.
You're not there going, okay, well, there's a plot hole there. Or that makes no sense because who cares? The premise is so absurd.
I know, but
it gives you freedom.
Right. And as far as plot holes go, I've kind of gotten to that point where I feel that way with everything. Is like, I find more plot holes in somebody telling me a story about how they built something than I do out of, movies nowadays, because I'm just going, numb my mind, let me escape.
Yeah.
And the theater, though, it will take you into a whole new world in and of itself if it's a good production.
Yeah.
And then when it's a storyline that just like, you're just like, that's ludicrous. And they make you believe the world that they're, that they're in, a world where you have to pay to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
it's like, where am I, Canada?
I got a question about theater that's a bigger thing. So, okay, here's my example.
Okay.
When I lived in San Diego, I lived 6 blocks from the beach. It was great.
Right.
And I would often just go to the beach and watch the sunset. Why wouldn't you, man? It's right there. So
You're so
one
mushy.
day, it's like, okay, one day I was there and a dolphin, the sun was right there ready to set, and a dolphin jumped up literally over the sun and back into the water. And me and one other person saw it. And I was like, okay, that was the coolest thing I've probably ever seen in my life. But how do you share that experience with somebody? It's very personal.
Right.
Well, theater's the same way. It's like, this was awesome, but 100 of us saw it. And how do we share that with you guys? You know what I mean? It's it's like a moment in time.
I'm going to
it's
tell
not
you,
like a
Joe,
movie.
You've got this platform.
Yeah.
On a rock station.
Yeah,
but you get to talk about it.
I guess. It's just, to me, it's a reason to get into theater, though. Theater is a unique experience.
That's exactly the way that I feel about theater in general. It's a moment, and I like the fact that there's a beauty in its impermanence, because I love the whole notion of, I just like the whole idea that, you're meant to create a moment and everything, and it's not meant to last. It's meant to be beautiful. Because not only that too, but you can't share it with everybody, because yes, you could find the soundtracks to these things, but it's hard to listen to a soundtrack in isolation from the experience itself.
And every single performance is unique. Tomorrow, the next one might be slightly different than what I saw.
And, for me, it's all about that feeling that it draws. I love live theater because, it's live and every experience is slightly different, particularly when something goes wrong. We had one of the best experiences. We saw Cats at Playhouse on the Square.
Yep.
And their sound system went out and the cast was perfect about it.
Well,
perfect.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmsted and our pal Max over there behind the glass, and in the house, our visiting correspondents, Denise Hager and Danny Chamberlin. In a moment, we're going to talk about MidSouthCon, but before the break, we were talking about theater and the theatrical experience off the air. Denise was telling us that she had gone to a performance of Cats where like the power went out, and live theater is live theater. Anything can happen, and sometimes really good things happen, sometimes mistakes happen, but that's all part of the experience. And, it's not unlike running a convention, Brandon.
Well, I was going to say, Denise breaks everything.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen when you open those doors.
It's true.
Or when you start setting up or something.
Very, very true.
And
anybody who wants to get into it, I don't recommend it.
Yeah, it's way
dangerous.
Harder than it looks. But, well, you guys, MidSouthCon, as we said, is March 20th through 22nd at the Vitality Hotel, right?
Yeah, Memphis Vitality.
Over by Perkins and 240. Pretty easy. You can't really miss it. It's right there. You can see it right off the freeway. You can't.
Old timers will remember it as the old Marriott.
Yeah. What was that? It was a Marriott.
It was a Marriott. It was a Crown Plaza. Yeah. It was, it was a. It was the fun place that had the freezing FurryCon.
Oh yeah, they overdid it with the air conditioning.
It was nice. I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess if you're in a fursuit, it probably felt pretty good. Man.
No, I walked across the entire parking lot to take a sign into our kids who were doing promotions for MCFC, and I was pretty sweaty by the time I got in there, and then boom,
yeah, ice
frozen
box.
in place.
All right, well, Danny, hopefully they've worked out their thermal problems, right? So, but
yep.
Okay. All right. Well, what are we looking at? How are things looking? I mean, we're only 2 weeks out now.
I think things are looking pretty good. I mean, schedule's done, other stuff, it just everything is coming together really well this year, I think. But between the schedule and all these events and everything else, I'm excited about this year.
Nice.
Well, it's a good venue.
Right,
I mean,
so you guys are breaking new ground with a few new additions like your fantasy ball and whatnot. I don't envy you.
I'm, interested to see how the fantasy ball will go. Like, it's really just a test year for it. We have some things that we're really hoping to carry forward with it, and then next year do it even bigger and better and keep that momentum going. Through.
What does this look like, though, for people that don't know what that is? Because you probably got to explain. It's not maybe what it sounds like.
What this is if you can come in on Friday night and, it's fantasy themed, but all aspects of fantasy. This is the 40th anniversary of the Labyrinth, and we're having ties into that. And, there's the fairy courts through so many books and stories. And a lot of these events, girls, even in the bathrooms right before, will be touching up makeup and wearing ball gowns, but you can wear your wings, your ball gowns, your elf ears, whatever. And there's going to be food and hors d'oeuvres as part of it, and dancing and music and just mingling. There'll be, before the night's over, essentially a homecoming fairy court named. We'll be giving out some things and tying in for the masquerade throughout the evening. And at the beginning, when you walk in, as long as it's, mostly PG-13, you hand a card to a host that does that, announcing king and queen, whatever you put on the card. And, you can literally have people call you in, and so it's meant to be just these ties into formal balls, like from Pride and Prejudice to the fairy courts, and with touches in between, and just letting them dance and get their energy going Friday night and excited into the con.
Who came up with this? Because it sounds pretty cool.
This was pitched by our one of our masquerade people, Willow Wilson, and I want to say Miss Jane too, who runs art for us, and kind of became the brainchild. And then we just took it and just kind of what if we do this? What if we do this? Until we were happy with something. But I'm really, it sounds like I'm hoping it's going to be as much fun as it is. It looks like it's going to be in our head.
Yeah. It's interesting because one of the things I love about MidSouthCon, and one of the things we've tried to do with Memphis Comic and Fantasy, is you want it to be a experience. You don't want it to just be
right.
I mean, there's every kind of event. Some of them are like an expo where it's basically a lot of vendors and some celebrities, but it usually shuts down about 6. You guys are literally going 24 hours a day. So,
and this reminds me of the whole thing that you were trying to capture with the beauty of theater. The beauty of the fact that it's an impermanent moment and you'll always cherish it as a memory.
Right. And you have to be there.
You do. And, you know, some of my favorite moments of all geekdom have come out of very, very small scenes of the con from, you know, there was Kenny once came in as Black Panther and his costume was amazing. But there was a little boy that ran up to him and just gasped because, you know, he was just in the presence of Black Panther and everything else. And Kenny just slowly crossed his arms and was like, Wakanda forever. And this little boy, you know, it was like you could tell that this was his defining moment in life so far.
Yeah.
You know,
his core memory.
Yeah, it probably is a core memory, honestly.
And, you know, Batman telling a little kid in the dealer's room, I'm very disappointed with you when they bought a Joker figurine. You know, I mean, things like that happen.
Yeah, that's the thing. And there's 1,000 of these moments that happen at a convention, which is cool.
Yeah.
And it's a live experience, folks. So, I mean, you know. But how do they, we better give out contact info, too. So, Danny, how do they get tickets? Where do they go? How do they learn more?
So, pre-registration has closed. However, tickets will be available at the door. And they can get all the details at MidSouthCon.org.
Okay. What about Facebook?
We have a Facebook page also. Facebook, I don't have
Facebook, Blue Sky, Instagram, X, and technically there's a TikTok too. So,
okay.
Yeah, the links are on our main page if you go to our website.
At least MidSouthCon is easy to spell. I don't think we have to spell it out for anybody, right? Well, I'm just saying, you know, it's a nice, simple name. It's not complicated or anything. So, but and Denise, what do you run for?
I do programming. I used to do gaming. Now I'm all programming. But you know, it's just a different type of event.
And Danny, what's your role? Because you're sort of wear a lot
technically
of hats.
this year I'm marketing and publicity, and then everything else that needs to get done in the next 2 weeks.
And you know,
that's what I'm saying. A lot of hats.
Yeah, I'm still 29 forever, but I started as a teenager under Danny in ConSuite. Like he's had every title basically.
All right. Well, we're going to talk more about MidSouthCon when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
The Geek Patrol is back.
This town needs an enema.
Sounds like a lie from Urinetown.
Boy, they sure did.
The sequel.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And in the house, we've got Danny Chamberlin and Denise Hager from MidSouthCon because MidSouthCon is right around the corner. It is number 41, is that right? 41. Yes. Man, think of that. It looked a lot different back when it started, didn't it? So
Don't look at me. I'm not that old.
So technically, our historian brought this up. Next year will be number 42, as we all know, the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah.
But it's actually technically because it'll be the 50th anniversary of science fiction conventions in Memphis, the Mid-South. While we began numbering MidSouthCon 2, there was a series of smaller events, usually held at the old Holiday Inn Riverside, from '77 onward.
And then there were years like COVID. You guys got hit bad with COVID. You had to miss two
years in a row because I mean everything shut down at the beginning of March, and we're at the end of March.
Shelter in place happened literally the week before con, and we were getting ready to make the decision whether to have the convention.
We were seriously debating: do we do it? Can we do it?
Nobody knew back then what it was going to look like. So so really, you guys are closer to 50 years on this operation. So, well, Danny, and then folks, you know, if you're new to conventions, MidSouthCon's a really good one to go check out because it's in a hotel, and there's which makes a difference because there are breakout rooms. It's structured a little different than an expo, and literally, like we said, there's things going on 24 hours a day. So
you get to when you go to one of these expos, a lot of times you're shuffled through a line as quickly as you can. You don't get a lot of time. There's not. Whereas at our convention, you have all the time in the world. You can become good friends with our guests. There are guests that we've had in the past that I still communicate with on the regular.
Yeah,
me too. We've got some science fair home, like help. And my daughter won like the district science fair. But years before, I emailed Les Johnson for an experiment who, does rockets to Pluto for NASA.
He's literally a rocket scientist. His panels are interesting. I like Les's panels. So.
Yeah, my favorite thing was basically an impromptu paddle in the middle of a game that he was playing, that he started explaining wormholes and just people gathered. It was fun.
Again, we're talking about these moments. That's what our type of convention, I feel, is full of. There are moments you get that you're not going to get through any other experience, not through the commercial expo type experience or, the autograph-a-thons, that's what I call them.
Yeah.
I like to call them the celebrity, yard sale.
There you go.
Yeah. No, that's a good way of putting it. It's not, a giant dealer's room with some stuff. There's little stuff everywhere, and you can break out and decide to go here or there. And you can take as much time as you want with what you're interested in, but there's actually no way to do everything at MidSouthCon in a year or even two. You have to come back for multi-years to get the whole experience.
And it's neat, too, because you get what I've always appreciated about conventions, and you see this a lot, especially at MidSouthCon, is the way it's a very uniting force. To me, this is the way society should be. You get people of every age, every demographic, every belief, whatever, and they're all together having fun and enjoying themselves. That's cool.
Yeah,
we don't get a lot of moments like that in society.
And Memphis has a great, atmosphere for that anyways. We have kind of this underground geek network for every different type, available. But the cons kind of bring it all together. We're friends and family, and this is my family reunion every year.
Yeah. No, it is. It's true. It's like you get that certain. It's probably more enjoyable than like Thanksgiving or something where you're. These are people like you actually want to be around.
Definitely the same amount of work going into it for me. A lot more fun.
I completely disagree because MidSouthCon won't let me cook on site.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
No, the hotel won't let you cook on site, not us.
Yeah.
That was verified with Steve Jackson when Buddha, head of gaming at the time, tried to cook him a steak at the hotel, and they freaked out. It's the hotels.
That's why Shorty had to adapt and make walking tacos. But,
exactly.
Okay. Hey, but Danny, before we don't want to run out of time, what are a couple highlights? What are some people we're going to want to meet?
Well, so our guests this year are John G. Hartness, publisher, editor, and writer of some really funny monster books. Trella Bromley as our gaming guest of honor. Sarah Leach.
Sarah Lewis.
Sarah Lewis, I'm sorry, from St. Jude is our science guest of honor. And
talk about a place with some science, man.
Speaking of lanterns, I think he did some work. Tom Wynn, comic artist, is going to be there. And then it's all capped off by our Toastmaster, friend of the con, Paul Blachek. And then we have, coming back, because he wasn't able to make it last year, we have Todd Lockwood as our artist guest of honor.
Okay, cool. And that's just like sort of scratching the surface. And I love the shopping experience. You cannot really beat the shopping experience. And you get one-of-a-kind art, one-of-a-kind collectibles.
It's a cool way to collect just neat stuff.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we have a charity auction going on, as we always do, with various collectibles and signed items you are not going to find anywhere else.
I probably shouldn't say this either, but it's not unheard of that if you've got a really cool collectible and you bring it to MidSouthCon, you might find a vendor that will trade up with you.
You absolutely will. There's definitely
a trade
component. They might even buy
it right off of you. So
yeah,
I've seen vendors that buy more stuff than they sell sometimes. So.
Yeah, but they're funding their own habit.
Right. Yeah, because they're addicts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think we all are in our own way, though. It's like I said, it really is just a great way to geek out.
Yeah, and you do make a lot of friends, and you'll make friends with unexpected people too. And it's interesting because you might be talking to somebody in a Klingon uniform, but then you find out they're like a bank executive or something.
Well, like 2/5 of my closest friends and everything were born from conventions.
Yeah, that's true.
Wouldn't that be the Ferengi costume?
They're
bankers. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking of Frank Chin. He dresses as a Klingon, right? He's a doctor, isn't he?
I don't know if I've seen Frank in a costume recently, but yeah.
He used to. I don't think he does it anymore. I haven't seen it recently. I just
now
seen
he
taking
takes pictures.
He usually shows up and takes pictures of like 12 events in a weekend.
All right. Well, MidSouthCon.com. Here we go.
Nope,
March.
Wrong.
What?
MidSouthCon.org.
March 20th through 22nd at the Vitality Hotel. All right, you guys, the show's over. We got to get out of here. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Danny Chamberlin.
I'm Denise Hager.
I'm Maximilian.
And I'm Brandon Olmsted, promising not to do this to you again.
Until next year.